Hey everybody, it's Brooke with the Buttered Home and welcome to my messy kitchen. Tonight we have a fantastic, fancy, all the things side dish for you and you will not believe it until you see it. Tonight we are going to be sharing with you our recipe for crispy lemon smashed potatoes. And they're not mashed, they're smashed. And we're going to show you how to do it and how to whip this up quick. The only prep you need to do ahead of time is just to cook your whole potatoes. We'll talk about that as soon as we just swap overhead and show you what we got going on. All right, so on our prep area we have just a few things. We have a lemon that we have just gently massaged. I like to take these and just use the heel of my hand and just kind of roll them around on my cutting board or my countertop and get them warm and kind of smushy. We'll come back to that in just a minute. We have a little bit of fresh rosemary. Now you can use dried rosemary. We call for 1 tablespoon of fresh, but if you use dried, you're going to want to do about half of that. So about half a tablespoon of dried, as dried is a little stronger. Over here I have my skillet ready and waiting, and while we are prepping our other ingredients, I'm going ahead and going to add in 2 tablespoons of butter and 1 tablespoon of olive oil to our skillet. We're going to fire it up and get that melting. Now, I said all the prep work that you had to do ahead of time was just cook these potatoes. You can do that on top of the stove. You can do that. I did mine in my Instant Pot. I added them whole, unpeeled, and I like the smaller to medium red potatoes. But these are some Yukons that I found that was a mix, and I thought they were pretty all together with the yellow and the red. Doesn't really matter. The color is really just your preference for aesthetics. They all taste like potatoes. So we have cooked these for about 6 minutes in our pressure cooker so that they're not firm, but they're not like for mashed potatoes either. They're still whole and they cook up nice in that pressure cooker to get things moving along. All right, just get that butter moving around. So what we're going to do is once they have cooled, and these have cooled pretty good, we're just going to gently just take, just like we did with our lemon, the heel of our hand and press it just a little. Now, you see it's flattened, but it's not flattened as much as I want. But you have to be careful that you don't make it come apart. If you do, it's okay. They'll still be fine. So we're just going to take that and we're just going to gently, gently, gently just push just a little bit more. And then you are left with a flat potato that's still all together. This is one of the reasons why I like to use the small to mediums. They're a little easier to do this with. The bigger the potato, the more apt it is to kind of break apart. So you want to get them all about the same thickness. And this one split in half a little more than I wanted it to, but it's still together, so that's good. There is no wrong way to do this, guys. If they fall apart, that's fine. They'll still eat the same. So this recipe is good from anywhere from 6 to 12 small to medium potatoes. And you can certainly cook these ahead of time and allow them to cool in the refrigerator, and that works just fine. So once you get your butter and your olive oil melted, you're going to, over about medium to high heat, you are going to place your potatoes in. Now we're just going to let them cook just a little bit in that butter and olive oil just until they get nice and brown. And in the meantime, over here, I'm going to prep my other ingredients. So I have this fresh rosemary, so I just want to run my knife through it. And if you're not a rosemary fan, this is where we get you to start thinking about your food. Personally, I think that rosemary and lemon go great together. Big D is not a rosemary fan. However, he is a butter and potato fan, so he will eat these. So I like to just chop it kind of fine, just to release those oils from that fresh rosemary. But certainly if you use dried, you're going to want to use just about a half of this, which is going to be about half a tablespoon. So while those are cooking, I'm going to just check them. You just want them nice and golden brown, and we're getting there. I'm going to go ahead and turn just so you can see that they're starting to just get nice and golden brown. And on medium to high heat, this really doesn't take long. It just does not take long. The potatoes are already cooked, right? So what you're doing is you're just crisping that outside skin up and getting a nice, pretty color on it for the sake of presentation and texture. So while we're waiting, we're going to take our lemon and remove the zest. If you don't have one of these plain graters or zesters, you can get them inexpensive in a much smaller form. I love this thing. And whenever I zest a whole lemon, the longer one works better. And I turn it where the well side is up. Naturally, if you're grating stuff, you're going to want to flip it over, and you can grate things like nutmeg and cinnamon and stuff like that with them. But when I'm zesting citrus fruits, I keep it bottom side up so that I can hold my zest in there and not have to like move it around too much. So it's going to go directly from my zester to the pan when we need it. And now you'll notice I'm just barely touching the skin. I'm leaving a lot of the zest on here. You don't want that white material. That's the pith, and it's bitter and it's not good. So you just want to just barely touch that skin to where you almost just knock the shiny off of the lemon. And there, you're left with all that, ooh, it smells good, that beautiful fragrant zest. Then I'm just gonna half that lemon, and I've got my vintage juicer that has a measuring cup here, but we don't have to have a measurement. We just want the juice of this whole lemon. So I'm just going to make my life super easy and just run it here. And I love this thing. I found this at an antique mall, and it's just makes my life so easy because my hands don't work like they used to. So really massaging gently that lemon beforehand makes juicing it a lot easier. And then when you use a tool like this, or if I have a wooden tool that I like to use a lot too, it makes this easier. But this has an insert in the top that catches pulp and seeds and all that stuff, so we just simply remove it when we're done, and you're just left with the juice in the cup, and it's perfect. All right, so our potatoes are just about done. So I'm going to lower the heat to low, and I'm going to take those potatoes up and put them on a plate and just set them aside. I'm going to drain them on a paper towel because we have used oil and we have used butter. So that can actually cause them to be greasy. So I like to take them out and just drain them. So this recipe calls for 5 tablespoons of butter. And that sounds like a lot, right? But we just use 2 tablespoons of it in here just to cook the potatoes. Now we're going to add the other 3 tablespoons to the pan at low heat and allow that to melt. This is going to be the basis for our sauce. A really nice, buttery, lemony, delicious sauce. And I cook those potatoes on kind of high heat, so let's pray. Let's pray that the smoke alarm doesn't go off. But hey, it won't be the first time that that's happened, and I'm sure it won't be the last. At least you guys know that I'm cooking live and I don't edit stuff like that out, because that happens here. It just happens. It happens everywhere. So I just take my little insert out and I'm left with the juice of that lemon. We'll set it aside because we're going to use it in just a minute. So I'm going to allow that butter to continue to melt. And it's good and it's frothy. It's taking those pan drippings from those potatoes, and that's what we want, because those potatoes left a little flavor in the pan, and all of it comes together to combine to be a really beautiful sauce. So on low heat again, we have melted that butter, and then we're going to add in our lemon zest just to that butter. And then we're going to add in our fresh chopped rosemary or our dried rosemary, whatever you choose to use, and just mix that up. We want the flavors to infuse in that butter. The reason why we don't add the lemon juice first is because the oils from the zest are strong and powerful, and they tend to combine with the butter and infuse their flavor, as well as the rosemary. Rosemary is oily, especially fresh rosemary, and even if you're using dried rosemary, it reconstitutes itself and the oils are released in the butter, and that's where a lot of your flavor comes from whenever you are making this beautiful sauce. Now to that, we are going to add just a little salt, probably about a half a teaspoon. Err on the side of caution. People can always re-salt their food, but they cannot always take it away. And then about 1/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper. We're mixing that up, and I'm using my whisk here because I want to get all those bits of the cooked potatoes off of the bottom. Now we're going to raise our heat just a tad, and we're going to carefully add in our lemon juice. I like to do that kind of slow because of this reaction. Then we are just going to cook it for about a minute more. Not long at all. We just want a lot of that moisture or water from the lemon juice to cook off and leave us with this beautiful shiny sauce. I know it's kind of hard to see on my camera. I'm in my home kitchen, and the lighting is not always great. But there we have it. We have a beautiful lemon sauce that was quick, it was easy, and it's going to taste delicious. Now I'm just going to pick up just a little bit of these utensils and get them out of the way and clean up just a tad so that we can serve this up and show you how perfect it is. Oh, I'm excited. And you know, the thing that I like the most about making sauces like this from the things that we just cooked is they're so fragrant. Anytime you use lemon or lime or anything like that in cooking, it just makes your house smell fantastic to me. And also, if you're cooking things to go with this, like shrimp or chicken, that lemon helps kind of the smell. Sometimes the fishy smell that we end up with, or that we're left with after we cook like that. So lemon is a good deodorizer, and it's just delicious. All right, so we're going to plate up a couple of these crispy potato. And they're still a little warm, but they are perfect. Now, the most prep work we did, guys, was cook these things ahead of time. That's all we did. Is that not fantastic? Now we're just going to take our pan and drizzle that sauce right over the top. And it's a little dark, but that's the beauty of it, is that you can brighten it up with something just as simple as parsley flakes, which is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just shake some over the top. And then you are left with a beautiful, beautiful side dish. And what's more than that is it tastes fantastic. So those potatoes, they're done because we cooked them ahead of time, and it's steaming hot right now. And they have been bathed and crisped up in butter and olive oil, which both are healthy fats and are good for you. And we have made a beautiful citrus lemon sauce with just a hint of rosemary that enhances the earthiness of the potatoes. Y'all, this is perfect. It's absolutely perfect. So we're gonna turn the camera around and we're gonna finish up and take a big old bite of these because I can't wait. So hang tight. Okay, we're back. I'm just gonna show them to you one more time because they're fabulous. This is one of my favorite simple side dishes, and for good reason. You can have something that is plain, like a potato, and you can really dress it up with really simple things. Taking it and cooking it beforehand and then crisping it up in a pan really changes the dimension of flavor. Potatoes, like a lot of other vegetables, the majority of their nutrients are housed in the skin. So the skin acts in two different ways, okay? It holds everything together because we smash them. And it also gives us the nutrients we otherwise wouldn't get if we peeled these guys and mashed them up and made mashed potatoes, which in its own right is good and it's comfort food, and sometimes you just gotta have it, right? But if you want to add a fresh flavor to something, this is it. And I challenge you to think about other spices and herbs and additives that you can add to this to make it even better. We have also sprinkled these with Parmesan cheese. So there's no limit. It's recipes like this that here at the Buttered Home we specialize in. We want you to enjoy cooking again. We want you to get in the kitchen and think about your food and think about ways that you can make it taste delicious. Also, it be healthy so you don't lose the integrity of the dish, and make it fun again. Cooking is supposed to be fun. Here in the South, we cook for people as a means to love on them and as a means to show that we care. So I think sometimes we get caught up in the business of cooking where it's something we have to do. So therefore, it's hard to get creative and it's hard to think about ways to make cooking fun. But this is a great way, and involve your family. Get the family in the kitchen and come up with new creations, and everybody be responsible for a dish. I think it's a great idea, and it gets everybody in the heart of the home together, cooking, fellowshipping, and loving on each other with food. And that's what we're about here at the Buttered Home, and we hope that you are enjoying it. And if you are, make sure that you're following us on all of our social channels. We have lots of fun. We do this new recipes every week. I wish I could do more than that, but I work full time, and so we do this out of our home, and we do a lot of work on the side. But we enjoy it. We've been doing it for about 4 years now, and we love every minute of it, and we hope that you all are enjoying it too. So make sure that you're following us on all those social channels, and that you visit us over at the website at thebutteredhome.com for this recipe and many others like it. And as usual, if you want all of our videos in one place, head over to YouTube and follow our channel so that you can be notified whenever we drop new videos like this one. Y'all, we are having so much fun. Spring is in the air, and so is the rain. But here we go. It is the season, right? But we're looking forward to bright, beautiful flavors that are reminiscent of spring all month this month. So be sure and not miss a thing, and be here every Monday with us. And y'all, we love y'all. From the Buttered Home to your home. Bye.